Minister Carr, very welcome to Paper Week Canada and Bio4 International.
Thank you.
It's a great honor to have you here for an interview with the Minister of Natural Resources Canada. And my first question would be, in times when people rely more on digital ways of communicating, what's your opinion about these face-to-face meetings like Paper Week?
There's nothing that replaces a face-to-face meeting, not even the telephone. And who spends any time on the telephone anymore these days? It's all in email messaging, and the method of communication has changed dramatically at all levels. And I think that there is nothing that can replace looking somebody in the eye, shaking their hand firmly, understanding the tone in their voice, being able to have a conversation that appreciates the nuances of human communication. So I'm glad to be here for that and other reasons. This is the 103rd consecutive meeting of Paper Week. So I wasn't around then, but I'm glad to be around now to see that there have been many changes to the industry. The industry is coping with these changes, and the best way to make sure that there is no misunderstanding is for people to talk to each other, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
Thank you very much. It's impressive that an event like this have gone for 103 years. Switching to another question, how has the federal government's view of the once distinct sectors of pulp, paper and forest products changed? And also, in order to thrive, must we now consider other opportunities as well for our natural resources for a continuum?
Well, the industry is far more integrated now than it has ever been, and the advancing technologies makes that easier. So as we take our raw materials and process them, put them into the marketplace, there are so many more ways of doing that in an integrated way. And the forestry sector have been innovators, and they have used ingenuity, technological change, in order to adapt to international changes in this industry and others. So I think that Canadians who have made their living in the forestry sector for all these years can take an awful lot of pride on how they've led that transition, and I believe they'll continue to do that even as markets become compressed and it's tougher and tougher to compete. I think it's entrepreneurship and innovation that will be the leading edge, and I'm confident that Canadians will thrive in that environment.
Thank you, which takes us to the next question. In the upcoming federal budget, what commitments can the forest industry sector expect to see that will encourage investments, development and growth?
Well, the Minister of Finance said in the 2016 budget that the government puts a premium on innovation and on clean growth in the natural resource sector, of which the forestry industry is a very important part. So I expect that we will see budgetary measures that continue that policy objective. We all know that we are in a transition to a lower carbon economy across all of the natural resource sectors, including forestry, and we will want to incent the private sector, as we have done already. And there are some very good examples right across the country, and we believe that's the way that government can promote within the private sector technological change that will lead to cleaner technologies and a low carbon future for all of us.
And to my final questions, what are your concerns for Canada's opportunity to export forest products into the US?
Well, we have a new administration, and that means a new relationship. We were very heartened by the first meeting between the President and the Prime Minister just this week in Washington. And we believe that Canadians have to make the argument that the national interest of the United States and of Canada actually converge in the natural resource sector. And that jobs that we create in Canada will also create good middle-class jobs in the United States. So we have two principal ambitions. One is to make lots of new friends, and that's to arm our friends with arguments that find the points of convergence between Canada and the United States. And we believe that we have every chance to be optimistic that that will succeed.
Thank you very much, Minister Carr, for this interview.
It's my pleasure.